Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up park.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas.
Hello.
We're back. International break's done. Yay. And even bigger news, Champions League's back. But we're not going to talk about that this week. Because,
Ooh, hey, how about that?
Rest in peace. Yeah, we're going to wait till next week so we can see all of the scores for all of the games. We don't want to talk about half the games this week and then half the games next week.
Anyway.
This is boring. But there's a lot of stuff going down in the Premier League this week.
Including Manchester City.
You may have noticed the title is "And Then There Was One." And that is homage to the fact that there is one undefeated team left in the Premier League. And that would be Liverpool. At the beginning of the week, there were three. It was Liverpool, Manchester City, and Leicester City. And Leicester City fell to Manchester United.
On a penalty.
It was a penalty. So United finally scored one, but it was a penalty. And City fell to Norwich. It
was really surprising.
It was very surprising. It is full-on Pookie party time in the Premier League, and it has been for the past month and a half.
And something about Pookie is, they do the Alan Shearer does his team of the week on the Premier League, and Pookie was not part of it this week.
So I wouldn't say he was the most,
and I get it.
Yeah, he wasn't the most pivotal player.
Right.
But he just always happens to be in the right place at the right time to score a goal. He's got 5 in 5 games. Is it 5 or 6? I think it's 6.
I think it's 6.
It is 6.
Yeah.
He is currently in 3rd place. He is alone in 3rd place. So I mean, 6 goals in 5 games is
pretty impressive.
Especially if you look back at last season. The top scorers only had 22 goals.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already, just under a third of the way there.
Yeah.
And we're 5 weeks in to a 38-week season. So it's going to be very exciting to see, and he's 3rd. There's two players above him. Can they continue their pace? I don't think so. The 2 people above him are Sergio Aguero and Tammy Abraham. And Tammy Abraham has been on kind of a tear lately, and I hope he keeps it up because he's playing so well, and I love it.
I guess you didn't see the news.
What news?
He got hurt today.
Did he?
No.
Oh, I'll kill you. I'll kill you. I will straight up kill you.
That was funny.
But no, he's on a tear. Him and Mason Mount.
Yeah.
I guess that's the game we should talk about first. Is the Chelsea game? Who did they play? I'm dumb. I'm sorry. Fixtures: Chelsea, Wolves. That's right. That game ended up being 5-2. Tammy Abraham scored a hat trick. The youngest player in Chelsea history to score a hat trick. And Mason Mount had one, and who had the other one?
And
Fikayo Tomori.
Yeah, Tomori. The cool thing about those 3 players, in seasons past before Frank Lampard showed up, these guys weren't playing, or they were playing, the U21s, or they were out on loan. The last 2 coaches, Maurizio Sarri and Jose Mourinho.
Not Jose Mourinho. Antonio Conte.
Antonio Conte, yeah. Jose Mourinho was before that. For some reason, watched these guys play and thought they weren't worthy of first-team time. And it makes you wonder. What exactly were they looking at? What did Frank Lampard see in them that no one else did?
Well, I think it helped that Frank Lampard's coming from Derby County. where he was able to watch Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount play. And I'm sure he was he was scouting some of the Premier League under-21 teams to maybe get some players when he was still at Derby. He had these observations of these players before he even came to Chelsea, and he has the knowledge of all these players, so he's able to use it, bring them on, and give them a chance.
Yeah. And I understand that, and I think that's great that he did that. But at the same time, Tammy Abraham's just been out on loan. See, he's a Chelsea player. He's just been out on loan. And for some reason, Sarri and Conte just said, yeah, leave him out on loan, whatever. And understandably, they had a pretty tight squad. Eden Hazard and Willian and
Pedro, Giroud.
Yeah. So maybe there wasn't a whole lot of room in the lineup, but when you've got youth, man, I just think it's kind of unusual that they have these players and they're just like kind of on the shelf.
And it's paying off for Super Frank right now.
Absolutely.
All 11 goals Chelsea has scored so far this season have come from Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, and Fikayo Tomori.
Yeah.
Literally, it's the 3 youth academy graduates that Frank Lampard has given a chance, and he's like, they're all like, I'm not going to squander this. I'm not just going to sit here and not take this chance.
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything I can to keep this spot, and they're killing it.
Yeah.
And to make it even better, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Reece James are coming back from injury. So that's 5 young players that Frank Lampard hopefully they'll put those 2 on as well. That's a solid young squad that he can build with over the next couple years,
over the next decade.
Exactly. This is a future super team in the making, as long as it's done right, and hopefully they can continue to bring on their graduates. And what that'll do is, and we were kind of talking about this the other day, is what that'll do is that'll make someone like these young talents look at Chelsea's youth academy even more. Look at the amount of prospects that are coming out and getting first team time. I want to go there. I want that chance.
Right. Yeah. Because what we were talking about was these guys they're going through the academy, and they're putting in the work and they're putting in the time there, and then they're ending out on loan. That's not a really great selling point for your academy. Hey, come to the Chelsea Academy. We'll put you on loan in Derby County. These guys, they go to the Chelsea Academy because they want to play for Chelsea. They go to the Liverpool Academy because they want to play for Liverpool. They go to the Manchester City Academy because they want to play for Manchester City. And at least get a start there. Not all of them will stay there forever. Especially in this day and age, and it's not just European football. It's not just American soccer. It's sports in general. You look at Major League Baseball. There's no loyalty to the team anymore. It's all loyalty to the paycheck. And I'm not banging on that. I'm just saying that's how it is now. It used to be, a baseball player signed for a team. He was part of that team. He was part of that family forever. And soccer used to be that way too. Football used to be that way.
That's how you get legend, like Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
That's how you get legends like Stevie Gerrard.
Yeah.
That's how it was. You just, that was your team.
Yeah.
You stuck with it. And nowadays, and it's kind of, we talk about this a lot as well. Some of the numbers that these players are going for are insane.
Yeah.
Record-breaking deals
every time,
every transfer window now, and I think it all started with Gareth Bale. As soon as that $100 million line was broken, it all broke loose.
Yeah, and then Neymar made it ridiculous.
Yeah, and that was just a waste, honestly.
Right.
And I think he's getting what he deserves right now, which we'll talk about kind of towards the end of the episode today. Yeah, but Chelsea 5-2 over Wolves. Tammy Abraham with 3 goals, an own goal, and then Mason Mount and Fikayo Tomori each with 1. And then Wolves also, who scored Wolves' second one? Patrick Cutrone. The two really good goals. I mean, I don't think it should have been Tammy Abraham's own goal.
No, I don't think it should have been either because it didn't change the direction of the ball into the net. The ball was already going into the net.
Yeah, it was a bad
He
goal.
just happened to deflect it deeper into the net. I mean, it was going to be a goal one way or the other. So.
Liverpool had kind of a scare. They went down 1-0 to Newcastle really early.
Yeah, in the 7th or 8th minute.
But they were,
and it was a brilliant goal. I mean, it was world-class stuff.
Yeah, Jetro really. I mean, he kind of cut in away from Alexander-Arnold and just curled one top corner. It was oof.
It was yeah, and you could just hear the collective sigh in the Liverpool supporters around the world going,
"Oh, yep, that one's not being stopped."
Can we get Adrian back? I don't even know Adrian could have saved that one.
Yeah. But Brighton 1-1 over Burnley. I was kind of disappointed in that game.
Yeah, that one was pretty. It was pretty lackluster. There really wasn't much going on.
It was a late tying goal for Burnley in the 90th minute, which is a little bit of excitement. But I was kind of hoping for more goals. These are two teams who, I mean, not taking anything against them, don't necessarily have the best defenses. So I was hoping for a few more goals, but unfortunately we didn't get it. I'm disappointed in Leicester, but United scored a penalty in the 8th minute.
And that was the scoreline.
That was it.
That was the scoreline. Now, just to kind of go along with that, Pogba's out, and Martial's out. No, is it Martial? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anthony Martial is also out with injury. So, I mean, that's two fairly big powerhouse players that were not on the pitch. But there's other players out there who should have stepped up. And I just don't see that happening with United right now. And right now, the biggest news of Manchester City or United is David De Gea signed a new 6-year deal.
And it was funny because the picture, Solskjaer looked like he's like,
what have I done?
What did I just do? This is a terrible decision.
Yeah.
Who talked me into this? Actually, it was more like, who talked me into this? The precious.
Oh,
sorry.
gosh.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. United just they had that 4-0 win over Chelsea, and all the fans were like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be a great season."
And it was a really good start.
They had every right to think that, and then United as a whole, like the team, was like, "You thought it was gonna be a good season."
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with United.
I don't see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer making it
No.
to the January transfer window.
No. Nope.
I don't see that happening unless something really, really turns around. And I don't know what he can do to do that. He just signed, one of the most overrated goalkeepers.
De Gea's not a terrible goalkeeper.
He's not terrible.
He's definitely overrated.
Overrated. That's my opinion.
I don't think that's the problem.
No, that's definitely not the problem. It's part of it.
I think
it's a small piece of the puzzle that he just, for some reason, they signed this guy to a 6-year deal instead of, okay, let's hold on till the January transfer window and see what we can do. There's got to be a better goalkeeper out there, but they didn't do that, and they just, I don't think they have the depth they need. Did they do a whole lot in the summer transfer window?
Not really.
And I think that's another part of the problem. The summer transfer window was really kind of lame.
They brought in Harry, what's his name? I'm losing my mind.
From Leicester?
Yeah, they brought in
Harry Maguire.
They brought in Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That was it. That was literally it.
But I think that's another part of the problem. For some reason, these managers are like, well, we got what we need. And they don't. They don't. He doesn't have enough depth to look at. It's just not there.
Yeah.
He's counting on guys like Paul Pogba, and he should count on Paul Pogba.
Yeah, Paul Pogba is a world-class player.
He should count on Anthony Martial. But now they're both out with injury.
And they
Who's
weren't
he looking at?
They weren't delivering before.
That's true.
I mean, United.
How many penalties has Pogba missed?
I don't even want to count.
I
hope take forever.
Yeah. I hope that somewhere somebody looks at Paul Pogba to his face, and in their best grammar of French, say you're never taking another frickin' penalty.
Well, I think the problem with Pogba is he doesn't want to be there. It was the problem last season. You could see he didn't want to be there. And if you have a player who doesn't want to play for your team, he's not going to perform. I think that's a problem with a lot of the players.
Well,
they have a lot of talent, but they're not playing well.
And I think as far as that goes, I think you're correct. I think he doesn't want to be there, but he keeps waffling on whether or not he's going or he's staying.
Well, he tried to leave for Real this summer, but Real wouldn't take him.
Well, then he needs to look somewhere else. If he really wants to leave, he'll make it happen. So hey, Real, I want to go there. No, we don't have a place for you, Paul. Oh, I guess I'll just stay here and complain about it. There's thousands of other teams on the planet he could have gone to. There's somebody out there who's going to say, hell yeah, we'll take Paul Pogba. But he's got to have a sit down with his agent and say, you got to get me out of here, man. I'm floundering. I look like one of the crappiest players. And I think right now Paul Pogba with Manchester United is underrated.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's underrated. He is a world-class player. He just doesn't have the motivation to play right now, and it's showing in his game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the long run, that's going to hurt him. So if he wants to stay, he needs to step up. If he wants to go, he needs to go. And go somewhere else and show his talents.
Yeah. But. Southampton pulled a 1-0 win out from Sheffield. Sheffield had a goal taken away from VAR, which I
thought it was a clear and obvious error.
Yeah, it was a good call. It was. I haven't seen any bad use of VAR yet this season. I've seen a couple times where it should have been brought in and it wasn't. Like in the Liverpool game, there should have been a penalty pretty early on.
Absolutely.
It was a clear and obvious error.
Because the rules were set out at the beginning of the season. Any handball, intentional or not, will be reviewed.
Oh, see, I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about Joel Matip getting pulled down.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, John Cena ran into the box and pulled Joel Matip down, and nobody saw anything. It was nuts.
But I mean, any time that VAR has come into play and they have used it, like they've done like an official check to show it on the board, it's gone right. I think they said they did a check with that penalty, but I'm pretty sure they were lying. I think the guy in the VAR booth was too busy eating like a taco or something, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine." But anytime that anytime that has legitimately been implemented, it has been correct, which makes me happy, because it shows that we've said it over and over again. They learn from the Women's World Cup. This is exactly what I wanted, and I think that's exactly what you wanted as well.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's worked out well. Tottenham didn't really need VAR. They thrashed Crystal Palace. Guess who was not on the score sheet?
Harry Kane. He's one of our own. Harry Kane.
Except he can't score unless it's directly in front of him inside the box with nobody in front of him.
Poacher's a poacher, but he's not a striker. But no, he was not on the score sheet and 4-0 win. Should have been. If he's going to live up to the standard that everybody seems to think that he's at, he should have scored goals.
Yeah, I mean, Heung-min Son was started today, and he scored 2. I don't know. I think Heung-min Son, Eric Lamela, Christian Eriksen are all worlds above Harry Kane.
True.
I will say that till the day I die.
I say it all the time. We've got a neighbor who's a Tottenham fan, and she was talking to me the other day, And she said, "Did you see Tottenham win?" I was like, "Yeah, it was Crystal Palace. They should have won." And and she was proud of her team.
Yeah,
awesome.
And there's nothing to be there's nothing to be mad about that.
But of course, I had to give her grief about guess who was not on the score sheet. Everybody talks Harry Kane. Oh, here comes Harry Kane. No, now they're going to see a spark. Harry Kane doesn't carry sparks.
Yeah, he seemed to be completely shut down against Palace. He was absolutely 100% shut down against Newcastle.
My biggest thing with Harry Kane, as far as skill, I think he's a skilled player. He's probably tons better than I am. But Harry Kane is not fast. As tall as he is and as fit as he is,
and he's not strong.
He should be faster.
And stronger.
Well, I don't know about the strength because I think he's just mentally trained himself that as soon as there's contact, grab your left ankle.
And that's terrible. You're a striker. You have to be able to fight for a ball, get a turn, and put it in the back of the net. That's your job. No. And I don't know, he just doesn't do it.
He'd rather score by penalty than give us something exciting to watch. But yeah, I mean, you punch him in the nose, he grabs his left ankle.
I mean, it's hard to miss.
That's true. He went there.
Man, I'm full of it today. I really am. Sorry.
He went there. Take that, Harry Kane. His nose is offsides. Okay, moving on.
So we already talked about Chelsea Wolves. Norwich City, the upset of the week.
Cheers, Norwich.
we were watching this. So initially we were watching the game. We're like, City's going to win that.
Oh, yeah.
We'll watch it later. And then I looked down at my phone, and I turned to look at him and like, we're watching the wrong thing. He's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, give me the remote. And I turned it on. He looked at the scoreboard. He's like, this isn't like recorded from like a couple years ago. This is like live. It was 2-0 at that point. City were able to bring one back right before half. And Norwich put another one in. And at that point we're like,
what's happening?
What is happening? I mean, City couldn't seem to get past Norwich's defense. I mean, Norwich packed everything in, and they countered perfectly.
Yeah, and it's really what they did. It was kind of a park the bus attack from there kind of tactic.
And I think that's one of the best tactics to play against a team like City that is tactically, and they have players that are just overall better.
Right.
Is you sit back, you take as much pressure, and then you use that pressure against them. They brought City in, they got possession, and they took off. And it worked beautifully.
And the transition was flawless, really. I mean, as soon as they got possession, everybody was forward. They left center halves back, but everybody else was gone. And I'm not saying Norwich just has that much speed, and the City doesn't have any speed. City has, and they even mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast that the starting 11 for Manchester City was
526.
527 something million pounds. The starting 11 for Norwich was not even 100 million.
Yeah, wasn't it like 70?
Something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but it was basically 5 times the amount of money spent. And I think every one of the Manchester City players is worth it.
Yeah.
Raheem Sterling is finally starting to play the way I think he should. I think he's over the prima donna phase, after he left Liverpool for all that money, and I think it went to his head. Mm-hmm. I'm a $100 and something million player, blah blah blah. I'm going to get starting time because they're not going to waste that money. I don't really have to do a whole lot. And then I think he just finally grew up a little bit. So I mean, Manchester City has the speed, they have the skill, they have the players, but I think that Norwich's plan to kind of draw them in worked brilliantly. Their transition was on point. It wasn't like it was just, we got possession, let's just thump it down over the top and hope somebody grabs a hold of it. They weren't doing that. I mean, it was 2-3 touch, maybe 3-4 touch football, but they got down there and they got down there fast, and they gave Ederson hell. And
I mean, there's really nothing he could do about the goals.
There really wasn't, and nothing against him at all. Nothing against City. I mean, I think they just had a bad day. I think Norwich had a game plan. They stuck to it, and they made it work. They made the adjustments they needed to make. And every time they got a chance, they took advantage of the chance. I think that's one of the biggest things. You see a lot of teams where they get chances. Teams, the lower teams, as I call them, and it's not a slight to them. But when they get possession, it's almost like sometimes they squander it. And teams like that playing against teams like Manchester City, those chances are going to be few and far between. So you have to capitalize on it. And Norwich did that.
Well, and I think their mentality is, we're not going to, this chance is going to be rare. We need, try and find the perfect shot. No. Put it on target.
Just put it on target.
All you got to do is put it on target.
Work the keeper at least. Yeah, exactly.
And it kind of stresses me out when they get down there that, there's a chance brewing and they squander it. They waste it.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Somebody's looking, let's see if I can Rabona this in. I mean, and I want to charge the pitch at that point and just, pummel, whatever Dingleberry did that. Just take the shot. And I think, speaking of stuff like that, it's Wilfred Zaha, I think, is kind of a fair example of that. Because he gets chances, but he always wants to see if he can dribble past one more. And he squanders a lot of chances for Crystal Palace. Wilfred Zaha is a very talented player. I think he's got it in his head, though, that he's got to dribble past everybody and take it one-on-one. Just get your yard of space, put it on frame, let the keeper do his job. If the keeper does his job, you'll do it again next time. If the keeper flubs his lines or, whatever, you've got a goal now. Because no one's counting, you dribbled past 9 players. No, they're counting how many goals did you score today.
Yeah. Because that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
It's the object of the game. There's statisticians out there like, we dribbled past so many people, but nobody talks about that. How many goals did you score? How many games did you win? That's what it comes down to. So yeah, and like I said, that was Norwich's plan, and they executed it very, very well. And again, as a Liverpool supporter, cheers.
Yeah. So with that, Liverpool is now 5 for 5. City
5 points clear second.
Yeah, because City drew to Tottenham and lost to Norwich. Liverpool is sitting alone. I believe there's something. I gotta find it.
Yeah, they're 5 points clear, and this is the first time in Premier League history that a team has been 5 points clear after 5 games.
Yep. Hopefully they can keep it.
I really hope so.
As a Chelsea fan, hopefully they can't. But so
look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard, Buddha. I'm doing just fine.
Look at the scoreboard today, huh?
Look at yours.
There's only one. Anyways.
But it was Valencia.
Valencia's not a bad team.
I'm just saying.
Come on. We don't want to ruin Champions League, although we totally just did.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry. Last 2 games. I'm going to start with Arsenal against... oh my god, who did they play? I literally just looked at it. I literally just had it and I lost it, and I'm sorry. Watford.
Yeah.
2-2 Arsenal and Watford.
Arsenal had a 2-0 lead.
They did. And then they lost it.
Wenger out. Oh, wait.
So my question for you, how long does Unai Emery stay?
I don't think he's doing terribly. He could be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
That's true.
How long does he stay? I think they're going to give him the chance right now. I think he's still building his squad.
Yeah, because they did a lot in this transfer window.
Yeah, they didn't do like a lot of the other teams did and do almost nothing. And I think he's maybe still trying to, clean the cogs a little bit. And hopefully it comes together for him. How long does he stay? I don't think he's in jeopardy right now. How long does he stay? I can't really say, but I don't think he's in danger of being unemployed soon. He could go the route of Arsene Wenger, start working for FIFA, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like Arsenal isn't picking up the points they should.
Well, and I think a lot of their problem is the same that we were saying about Manchester United. They don't have the depth. They're relying on people who have been on that pitch for year after year after year. And I'm not slighting them. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You have to have some experience out there. You have to have some veteran players out there. But you can't have 8 of your starting 11 the same ones that started 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You've got to start bringing in new blood. You've got to start bringing in fresh legs. You've got to start bringing in that younger speed. Some of these guys are getting a little bit long in the tooth. Football speaking. I mean, they're only in their late 20s, early 30s. But when you're trying to chase down a 21-year-old and you're 32, it's a big difference. Mm-hmm. You can ask me. I'm 47 and I'm trying to chase down 20-something sometimes, and it ain't happening. Back in my day, I was a pretty quick booger, but I'm just not anymore.
Ew.
Hey man, So yeah, I don't think Unai Emery's in danger as far as his job's concerned right now. I think he's got to put some more pieces together. And maybe start counting on some youth a little bit. Arsenal's they've got an academy system. Again, take a page out of the Frank Lampard playbook and build with some youth, man. Take your licks right now, build with some youth, and you're gonna be all right.
Yeah. Real quick, West Ham. Not West Ham. Yeah, West Ham, Aston Villa 0-0. Kind of disappointing. And the last game of the week. Very surprising. Bournemouth 3, Everton 1.
I do not think Marco Silva will make it to Christmas.
Nope.
Either. I really don't.
I don't think so either.
And I think it's a bet that he made. When he left Watford, he kind of left them in the lurch, and I think it's just kind of bad karma following him a little bit. I hate to say that. We've talked about it on the show before, that I think a lot of his team are looking at him going, this guy will leave a team in the middle of the season. Why should we follow him? Mm-hmm. And I think, and that's just my personal opinion. I have absolutely no inside information on this at all, but I think that's what it is. That's how I would feel. I thought it was a crap move from him on both sides. I don't think it was a good move for him. I don't think he was ready for Everton. They're certainly not ready for him, and I think within the next 60 days, he'll be asked to move on.
I kind of agree with you. I don't think I'll make it to Christmas. So,
yeah, Everton's got to do better.
Yeah, I mean they should at least be fighting for top 6, and they haven't for the past 3 seasons. They're 11th right now. It's not where Everton fans expect them to be.
That's not where anybody expects them to be. I mean, you got Liverpool supporters who are like, yeah, great, they're in 11th, woohoo. Because of the Merseyside derby thing. But it's Everton. I mean, they've been around forever. They should have this worked out by now. And at this point, they do not. That's my 2 cents.
That's all I have for this week. You have any news and such? I
do not.
I said earlier we're talking about Neymar and how he's kind of getting what he deserves. So many of you may know the transfer saga that went on and collapsed and then rose back up and collapsed several times, with Neymar apparently wanting to come back to Barcelona. He has said several times that he does not want to be at PSG anymore, but nothing came of it this summer, so he's still at PSG. PSG fans on his first game back started yelling profanities at him, and his response was, I completely understand. I have to play every game like an away game now. I said I didn't want to be at PSG, and it still remains true. Which, I mean, just kind of alienates him even further from the fans. I mean, these are fans who already hate you, and you're going to antagonize. You're crapping on them even more. Yeah. And honestly, I don't think he's worth it.
No.
He's an okay player.
His biggest problem is he's got family as a manager. That's his biggest problem.
And they hype him up.
Yeah, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best. And that's what dad's supposed to do. Dad is supposed to do that. That's why you don't hire your dad as your manager. Because he's not going to tell you an unbiased truth. If you have a good agent, they're going to say, listen, we're going to send you to PSG. They're going to pay you this. And that's what's going to be. Or you can stay here and you could be under the shadow of guys like Leo Messi. You know.
Which is nothing to squander at.
No kidding. If I had the chance to play with Leo Messi, I'd be like, yeah. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Neymar, if you're listening right now, perk up because this is going to hurt. Okay? You are not even close to the skill and class that Leo Messi is. And you never will be. So what you need to do is you need to swallow all of that pride you've coughed up all over your fans. And you need to take the opportunity to learn from players who are substantially better than you. You're not even, in my opinion, you're not even in the same league as Leo Messi.
I mean, technically he's not.
Well, I mean, even when he was on the pitch with Leo Messi, you belong in the shadow of Leo Messi.
Yes.
Like everyone else.
Everyone is in the shadow of Leo Messi.
Like everyone else. Everyone's in the shadow of Leo Messi. Period. Except maybe Brazilian Ronaldo and Ronaldinho.
Well, I mean,
they might be sharing.
Yeah, and I'll put Cristiano Ronaldo up on that level.
Okay, all right.
Because those are the two best players, undoubtedly. You can fight and say Messi's the greatest. You can fight and say Ronaldo's the greatest.
They have different styles.
I like Messi, but I love watching Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He is an absolute joy to watch because he's a fantastic player. He puts the work in.
I'm a Ronaldo fan, and I love watching Leo Messi because he's absolute magic. He somehow velcros the ball to his foot, and it just goes where he wills it to. You know, it's amazing. But yeah, Neymar is not. He's not in that class of player, and I don't think he ever will be. One, because his ego is just too big. Mm-hmm. And he just keeps thinking, well, you know, I'm Neymar. You're supposed to give me this, and you're supposed to give me that. You know, and I don't know. I could go on for hours about this, but he belongs in the shadow of Leo Messi, and like Thomas said, that's a chance you don't squander, and he did. Mm-hmm. So he's where he deserves to be, where he doesn't want to be. Too bad.
Yeah. That's all I got.
And that's Ian and Thomas's advice column.
Look for it in your your newspaper now.
Auntie Jean. I don't know. Anyway.
Take us out.
Yeah. Thanks for watching Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas. We really appreciate it. Shout out for Thomas. He does all the production and editing and everything for the show. I have little to nothing to do with it. Huge shout out to our good friend Macrophonic MC. Check out the links to his music. He's a very talented guy, very cool guy. Check it out. Support up and coming musicians. He's actually been around a long time. But anyway, check him out. The sticker shop, t-shirt shop, I think
sticker shop's closed.
Sticker shop's closed. Don't go there.
Sticker shop's been closed. Yeah. All right.
But check out the links for the
broken.
t-shirt.
I could never figure it out.
Yeah. Hit like, hit the bell so you get notifications. Make sure you subscribe. And we'll see you next week with Inside the Six. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up hard.